Oh, there you go.
I know I'm going to be laundry. That's where I'm at.
All right, well, keep season, we're looking for 0394. You were your 0364.
Is this yours? Oh, what year is that? Wow. It's my girlfriend's birthday. Her date. How long have you had it?
A couple years.
Did you buy it like this or did you do it up yourself?
Mostly mechanical stuff, suspension, steering, brakes.
Oh, is that the original paint?
No, it's originally light blue.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's nice.
Somebody must have painted it this color back in the 70s or something.
They do a good job?
It's pretty good, but it's got some flaws.
Oh yeah, but white's really forgiving.
Yeah, it is.
So, especially that's not like a stark white, isn't that just a little bit off
Yeah, it's kind of
polar white?
They call it California white.
Right, yeah. And that has the straight 6?
Straight 4.
Straight 4.
Car.
Like side draft?
2 SUs.
Oh,
Yeah.
shows how much I know.
I had the hood on for a while, and then they stopped judging, so I closed it.
Oh, yeah, I was going to bring my car in, but I had work this morning, so I didn't sign up. I don't know if I'm allowed to drive through the RV park or not. I do RV repair, and I thought, well,
I think you can.
so I like to let people see it because it's a little bit unique.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I put a new rubber on this thing.
Oh, that's neat. It's got that sharp edge.
It keeps pushing the trunk lid up.
Yeah.
So when I do this, it doesn't look as good, but the
Right.
lid stays down better. So
Yeah. You have to kind of do that before you shut it, or it'll kind of wedge in there.
yeah, it's kind of like, I've been pushing down on it. I actually was thinking of putting some
You ever
weight on
thought
it.
about maybe wiping the outer radius with white vinegar, and
White
then
vinegar, huh?
yeah, because it'll soften up the rubber,
That's
and
good to know.
and then you can shut the trunk. What I would do is I'd put wax paper
Okay.
because you don't want it to stick,
Right.
but put wax paper around on it just before it get prepared.
Okay.
I would take blue painter's tape and go around with the paper laying out of the way,
Right.
wipe it down before it dries, preferably in the shade when it's cool or maybe at night,
Yeah.
and then close it for the day, and then it might lay where you want it to lay
So
the
white
whole
vinegar
time.
Makes it, lay
It's
down a
yeah,
little
it
bit.
brings a lot of stuff out, like on old vinyls and rubbers.
Right.
That sounded funny. You know that old story, but yeah, you can wipe it on there, and it's kind of like the opposite of Armor All. It actually pulls some of the solvent back up to the surface and replenishes it in the same process, and then but it will actually allow things to contour a little better. It's almost like putting water on wood if you want to form it.
I'm gonna try that.
So, but try a little spot. If you've got some of that new stuff,
Yeah.
do the same thing. Put it in a vise with a couple pieces of painted metal on either side, because I don't know, some of the rubbers they have these days are not UV stable,
Right.
and the ones that are sometimes have another synthetic element in them,
Yeah.
and the vinegar or any petroleum distillates can actually kind of make it gooey. So I would test it
The
first.
thing about this, I sprayed silicone spray on it, and what's weird is the paint from here seems to come off and stain the rubber.
Yeah,
so I'm always like pushing pieces.
It probably stuck
of paint off.
because the silicone might have broken it down and
Yeah,
made
that's
it
what
an
I'm thinking.
adhesive.
Yeah.
That's what the vinegar doesn't necessarily do. But if you at least put the wax paper on there, if you do determine that it's actually starting to get sticky, what you do is you grind up a charcoal briquette,
Okay.
not the matchlight type, but the cheap one.
Yeah.
You grind it up, and then you just powder the areas where you're getting that kind of adhesive property, and it's almost like putting baby powder on something to keep it from sticking.
So you put the white vinegar on it, and then you put the wax paper over the white vinegar.
Yes, so it doesn't stick to the paint.
Oh.
Because if you close it and there's something in that property that the vinegar actually breaks down, it might make it might seal the trunk shut.
Really?
Well, because you don't know what's in that material
Use
unless.
apple cider vinegar, right? I know we have apple cider vinegar. That's probably not the same thing.
Well, there's apple cider in it, which is going to act like an adhesive.
Yeah.
Then, and back in the days, they used to use apple cider, apple juice, and different juices, actually as adhesives,
Okay.
among other things. Tribal people used other stuff, but you can figure that out since we talked about condoms before.
Yeah. I'm gonna try that white vinegar. You know, it's funny. They when I had the old rubber, it closed nice and flat,
Yeah,
and then I get my
the new
parts-
ones aren't as pliable and soft.
Yeah, they kind of.
There's more. The thing is there's a rubber shortage
Right.
of actual true rubber trees. Because they got greedy. There's only 2 countries where they actually have rubber trees that they are actually native. Well, you have to plant them in rows, but you have to plant them a certain distance so that any of the, you know what trees get infected with?
Parasites.
There's
mold.
parasites and mold,
Yeah.
but the parasites that grow in rubber trees, they can only travel a certain distance to try and cross contaminate.
Yeah.
Well, they'd always, ever since the original determination that they could get killed, what they do is they put them in rows,
Right.
spaced between each other, and the rows have to be spaced. Well, they got greedy, or somebody lost track of what that determination was for,
Right.
and they filled in the empty rows in between.
So there's too many.
All the trees killed each other.
Right. They're too close to each other.
Yeah, so now the only products that get pure rubber from those sources are medical equipment, aircraft tires, the military, and condoms. So now our whole story just came right back around.
Priority.
It's all priority.
Yeah, there's a company where you get all the old Volvo parts, the complete auto parts.
Yeah, if you can find actual new old stock.
This is they have new stuff, but they use their own tooling from the original molds and stuff.
Right, it's like what they did with DeSoto and
The problem is this particular one. Everybody in the group says it's too thick, and they can't shut their trunk lid right. But there's this company in Europe, I think it's Britain or something, and they sell it. But then I didn't want to have somebody ship it, and I already bought this. So
well, it all depends on priorities and necessities.
yeah, this is like $42.
Yeah.
It hasn't laid flat ever since I got it, but when I do this, it seems to lay a little flatter. It's just that it's got this.
The other thing is that glued on permanently?
Yeah, I use
Oh.
Permatex.
I was gonna say, if you took it off, or if you wanted to redo it, if you had any left over, you could stick that stuff in a tube, like a little vinyl piece of tubing, like a PEX tubing, or
See, that's a little better.
well, yeah, because now it's laid down before you shut it. But if you flatten it sideways and slide it through a tube, that's a diameter that will hold it curled, and then you boil it. Not boil, but heat it up in water. Roll the tube up and put it in a pan of hot water,
Yeah.
and then it'll permanently form it.
They suggested that black Permatex
Yeah, well, that's good. I just meant if you could come back off, like some of the weather stripping has a metal coil in it, like a backbone, like a vertebrae, and you just squeeze it to put it on, and then the rubber going against the plastic or paint will hold it, so you can just pull it back off, and you could do this same process. But
Yeah, I can still see a little bit of a raise to it. It's still.
yeah,
Really bright car over here.
so
The only problem is if I put like it slopes so much, it's liable to end up on the ground. You know, like maybe a towel, put a towel on it.
well, no, you just shut it. If you shut it with the wax paper there, it'll still close. The wax paper is of no significant thickness, but it'll keep the transfer from happening from the paint onto the seal, or the seal getting torn and getting lifted up with it.
Right.
And then if it feels like it's tacky, then take the charcoal powder that you make,
Right.
and then just kind of brush it around there with your fingers. Another thing that works good is graphite, but you have to get graphite in black.
Yeah.
Graphite usually comes in gray
You know, I got a little thing of graphite I had.
for locks.
I got when I was 15 years old. I still got it.
Yeah, the powdered graphite, the black stuff, the original stuff, that'll work too.
Yeah, it's for a skateboard.
Right. Well, they use it in locks to get locks to work without gumming them up.
I can't believe I still got that. That was like 48 years ago.
Well, just check the expiration date. You don't want to use bad graphite. It'd make the car smell.
Yeah, 48 years is a long time.
All right, good talking to you. If I see you when I drive through, I'll honk at you, and then you get to see my car.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I hope it works. Huh. I used to have one of these. That was all. And this red had that interior. Except mine was automatic with a 302. Which I bet you dollars of donuts, that's a 302. Oh boy, somebody boarded out. It's a 351. Some good looking rear ends. Oh, hello. It ain't easy being green, but I've never seen one of these this color, but it works. Cobra Jet. I think it's 428, 429. Wow. With the louvers and the plaid trunk covering. Everything's correct. Nice. Wow. That was a cool surprise. Oh wow. Injected. Mechanically injected.